famous Ohio State Buckeyes.
We might be in a situation where we have a superstar coach on our hands, kind of like how we did with Brian Hartline.
So right from the jump, make sure they understand they're playing somebody different tonight. They're playing the Buckeyes. They're playing the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Being the Buckeye, there's nothing better, bro. What's going on, Buckeye Nation and Voice of College Football people, man? How are you all doing? It is good to be back, man. The Buckeyes right now are 5-0, man. So right now, if you can, man, make sure that you go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, if you are watching on X, make sure that you go ahead and just hit that retweet button. We can go ahead and see it, and we'll also give you a shout out if we see it in there, man. So we definitely appreciate everybody in here that's watching. We got a lot to unpack today, man, a lot that's going on in college football and what's going on around college football. So my question to you all is will Ryan Day unleash Julian Sand on the road against Illinois? Let me know in the chat how you all feel about that. Will Ryan Day unleash Julian Sand on the road, man? So that's my biggest thing that I am concerned about, because I think so. I think that the answer is yes. So, but we will unpack that more into the show. Right now, we got to start talking about what's going on around college football, man. The NCAA is dropping news, but there's supposed to be some final deliberations that was going on today. I have not seen if it is finalized or what that is yet, but right now it looks like the NCAA is working to finalize a single transfer portal window that will be 15 days that runs from January 2nd to January 16th. I'm excited about this one transfer portal window. I am not excited about the days that it is happening, man. That's my biggest issue on what's going on right now. Hold on, I think I messed up on what I was supposed to do when I pinned this dang on video. All right, man. There we go. All right. So I'm not excited about this window at all, man. I'm not. And the reason why is I totally understand from an academic standpoint, but when you go and you talk about games being played on January 1st, New Year's, if games are being played then now, even those first two playoff games or whatever, first rounds, those teams probably not worried about it if they lose. But if you go and you make it to the semifinals or the national championship, it's kind of hard for you to be in the transfer portal race while you're trying to compete for a national championship. And here's where I go, like, how do you combat this? It's time for you to have a recruiting staff and a coaching staff. Hey, the recruiting I think needs to switch up. You know, I'll be working with you as well. You know, these GAs, they might need to be the ones, or these analysts, they might need to be on the ones on the road. Hey, I'm going to bring you back. You're going to be working with Larry Johnson. Let me take you to go meet Larry, things like that. These coaches need to be locked in during the playoffs if you want the best product. These coaches shouldn't have to be worried about, let me fill my roster, let me do all of this crazy stuff. It shouldn't even be about that. So that is sad. Now, what they also are talking about changing is, remember, if your coach got fired, your roster was up for grabs immediately on the spot. Well, now these kids cannot just boom, hop in the portal, bounce whenever they want to. They have to wait till a new coach is announced. And then after the new coach is announced, they can entertain entering the portal. Now, for the universities, I do see this benefiting the universities more than the kids as well. But, I mean, I think I don't know, maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help. But if those kids are going to leave, you might want to, or that coach, here's my thing is, some of these coaches be wanting to get these kids out. Let them go, right? I don't want to hold a kid hostage or be somewhere even a day longer in the program, if they truly don't want to be there. So if like they even had thoughts of getting out now they're stuck when they originally had thoughts of getting out, now they're stuck. Now I'm going to have to deal with them being a cancer in the locker room, like saying stuff like I should have got out as soon as I had the chance, those type of things. So I think it's crazy. Rumors are going out right now about Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick making all these news. First, the word is going around that Hulu will not be showing or airing their broadcast of the season of Bill Belichick in the North Carolina football team. It has not gone off to a good start. Some players were ran out of the program. There are weird stories coming out since this offseason, stories about him and his fiance, I believe now wife maybe, who knows, but there were always weird stories coming out. Now there's weird stories coming about Bill Belichick, his relationship with players, those type of things, and there's possible that North Carolina is already discussing how do we get out of this and how do we get Bill Belichick out of the building, because this is even more of a step down than Mac Brown. So I think this is crazy. Some coaches are dissatisfied, man. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy out here. So last week I talked to you about my top games and underrated games. I talked to you about Michigan State and Nebraska. I told you guys that was going to be one of the games that I thought that you should tune into, definitely be watching as well. And what did I lie to you? I did not. I did believe Nebraska was going to come out, pull it out, and they did. Dylan Raiola, he sometimes he's like up and down, man. I don't know, but they were able to pull it down. And I'll say this, for a Nebraska team, one thing that they always had issues with was winning games in the second half and in the fourth quarter. They were able to do that. So that is something positive for Nebraska moving forward. I'll say that. Now, game that I did not think was going to go how I thought. I thought like it was going to be a good game, right? Texas has a good defense. Florida has a good defense. I told you I thought that this was going to be a defensive battle. But to be honest, man, it looked like Florida was cooking. Like Texas just took light of Florida. They took it as a joke. And they came up with the L, man. Florida ends up winning that game. Shout out to them. Texas lose. Another L for Texas. And it's funny because I was talking to some Texas fans and I was saying, I'm interested to see how this team looks against a P4 team. They haven't played a P4 since Ohio State. They think that the offense is humming. And I thought maybe over time, we know that their defense is good. Arch needs some time, some development and stuff like that. But it's not really Arch that's even the biggest issue. You're talking about that offensive line is an issue. The wide receivers, I don't feel are helping him out other than Livingston. That's the only guaranteed guy that I feel that Arch has. But he's running for his life. The offensive line is not good for Texas. Another thing that we tried to discuss when people were talking about Texas being a national title contender is you're replacing all four offensive linemen. And, I mean, Florida had their highest sack totals in that game, man. Just had their way with Texas. And you could just tell from the beginning of the game that it was going to be a long day for Texas. So It's no longer a good win on Ohio State's schedule. I'll say you can at least say that Ohio State started the season going up a P4 opponent. That's as good as it's going to get because Texas is now unranked. The game now I did think the team that I did believe was going to win was Miami. FSU just, they were able to surprise Bama in the beginning of the season, but FSU, I just believe, is fraudulent. Like, it's good to see that they're not the team that they were last year, but I don't think that they're one of those teams that we will call pretenders, right? And we will talk about our pretenders later on in the season. I don't want to go off of AP rankings right now. We'll talk about our pretenders probably right before the College Football Playoff Committee comes out with the rankings or right when they do. So, and yes, Aaron, FSU can still go 10-2, but like I said, I still think they'd be a pretender when they get to the playoffs, unless they get one of those easy brackets, which they're probably going to stop this year, right? Because of the whole reseeding, the Dan Lanning Oregon rule. They had to fix that. So, but yeah, they could get to the playoffs, but my whole thing is this, and I want to kind of bring this up basically about Penn State. And Penn State, all they played was cupcake after cupcake after cupcake after cupcake. And they did not get a P4 opponent. And then when they finally got their P4 opponent, what happened? Oregon. It looked like they were sleepwalking in the game. They didn't wake up until the second half. And by that time, it was too late, right? You get into overtime, and it's just not enough. You lose. Now, on that loss, you go on the road. You obviously, I don't know. I'll say this. This is how I feel about Penn State. I know a lot of people are giving Andy Kotelnicki a lot of blame in this Penn State UCLA game, but I will not say that all blame reserves on him. As a top team, as a team who had a top defense last year, and you assume that they would still have a top 10 or a top defense this year, Penn State did enough to win this game. Penn State's offense, they put up enough points. You're talking about putting up 37 points and you have a top defense, you should win this game. I mean, Oregon only put up 30 on them, but then you let UCLA go put up 42. Now, James Franklin can say travel, whatever. If you had issues about traveling, you could have went out there earlier. You could have been out there Wednesday. You could have got out there Thursday morning, maybe Thursday afternoon. It's not what you did, right? So the only person that you can blame, James Franklin, is yourself. Also, if you want to blame Andy Kotelnicki, I don't think that you should blame him. Blame the head coach who mixed oil and water, because oil and water don't mix. Yes, we'll say Andy Kotelnicki is the oil. Drew Aller is the water. Drew Aller is a pro-style quarterback or whatever, a pocket passer, and you're going out there asking him to do things on key downs that you would have asked Bo Pabula to do. This makes no sense. So I know a lot of people want to blame Andy Kotelnicki. I truly blame James Franklin, because you didn't go get an OC who could adapt to the personnel, to the different quarterbacks. Hey, if I get a pro-style quarterback, what kind of game plan would you have for this? If I have a dual threat quarterback, what kind of game plan do you have for this? It's just, or what scheme do you have? I mean, that's the biggest thing. But the one thing that I feel like Penn State fans we tried to talk about the whole Oregon game, and I tried to explain to them, hey, getting off the field, that one of the issues that I saw was 4th and short, 3rd and shorts. Y'all aren't able to get off the field on defense. Jim Knowles wasn't an issue in the Oregon game. That wasn't the issue. It was the offense, blase, skippy, boom, 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 right? say what you want, but that everything that I was talking about in the Oregon game came to real its head in that UCLA game. What did that defense not be able to do that UCLA was able to continue to sustain drives? And they were able to get off the field on third down. As I was watching that game, I said, man, let me go look at the stat sheet. This was in the first half. UCLA was 7 of 8. You're talking about a team that was 0 for 4. 0-4. They were 7 of 8 on third down before the second half. That is disgusting. You're paying your defensive coordinator $3 million. This man is the highest defensive coordinator in the nation. And you don't put a spy in till the fourth quarter. Think that that's just atrocious. But all of these things, everybody tried to say Ohio State is haters. You guys owe us an apology. Every one of you that called Ohio State haters. You said we were hurt that Jim Knowles left us. All these narratives that you tried to push that, you're going to have a worse defense because of Matt Patricia. The Jim Knowles is really an elite guy. It had nothing to do with Ryan Day. All of this. And I'll tell you this. The whole thing about Ryan Day not being an elite, what will he be able to do on defense and everything? If you're an elite play caller, and I've been saying this, if you're an elite play caller on offense, all you're doing is scheming up how against different defenses. You've seen several defenses. You think that an offensive coordinator can't put together a defensive scheme and say, hey, let's switch some things around because this might be something that might make me have issues as an offensive guy? So, I mean, it is what it is, man. So, Aaron said, we're going to get a desperate Penn State to keep hope alive. Yes, I mean, we always have a close game with Penn State. But again, Jim Knowles, one thing that I saw Jim Knowles doing is putting those DBs, especially them safeties, in mismatches on islands. He's still doing the same thing. Doesn't bode well when I have a Max Clare and I have a Carnell Tate, a Jeremiah Smith. I mean, if Jim Knowles want to play man with Jeremiah Smith, go ahead. If you want to go ahead and send those blitzes, go ahead. Have fun with it. I think Bo Jackson can have a game, especially you talking about Bo Jackson getting the ball in space, making a cut or getting one-on-one with a DB and having to run him over. Yeah, sign me up. Good luck, Jim Knowles. Good luck, man. I mean, good luck, man. That's all I got to say with that. But as we transition, we have to go ahead and take care of some housekeeping business, as we always love to do. So let's do that. Get your business, product, service, or personal brand to the next level by partnering with the Voice of College Football. See what our partner Win Agency has to say about his sponsorship experience with us right here on screen. Let's discuss how you can reach your target market. Contact us at sponsorships@vocfb.com today. Again, that is sponsorships at vocfb.com. And it is right here on the bottom of your screen as well, man. And one more.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back to the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel, and welcome to the world famous Buckeye Show. You can always catch us here at 7:30, and also catch my guy Garrison every Monday and Thursday at 7 o'clock for the Ohio State primetime. And on Thursday, he be doing call-in shows. So if you got something that you want to get off your chest, go holler at my man Garrison every Thursday. And again, remember, participants must be 21 or older. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, participants must be 21 or older. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, good people, man. The Buckeyes, man. I know you all are ready to talk about the world-famous Buckeyes right here, man. So Ohio State has a big noon kickoff going on the road versus Illinois, man. And one thing about Illinois, I would say that they have a good defense, but they have been facing a lot of issues when it comes to injuries, and I just don't believe that they have the depth, man. So, yes, again, shout out Jam. Don't forget about the queens of the Voice of College Football every Sunday. Make sure you check them out right here on our network. And you can also check us out on the Voice of College Football on vocfb.com. Make sure you check us out there so you can find all of our content and our schedules for when everybody show premieres. So make sure y'all checking that out as well. But again, about this Illinois team, they definitely have been facing injuries. They don't have the depth issue. They don't have the depth. Now, as you all have heard, I'm sure by now, Buckeye fans, Ryan Day has talked about, has talked about this game, has talked about this Illinois team as well. And he said, whatever you thought about that game, throw it out the window from the Illinois and Indiana game. He also referenced back last year to Nebraska as well. But I'll say this to you. I know that they had their impressive victory against USC, but I still think USC has issues in their trenches. And that was a 2-point game. Now, I will say Luke Altmaier is one of the top quarterbacks at getting the ball out of his hands when he's blitzed. I'll say that. When he's blitzed, he's getting the ball out of his hands in like 2 seconds. Not almost not. I mean, I know it's like 2 point something, but it's like 2 seconds. So one thing I think Ohio State might have to do is play man, or as Matt Patricia likes to do, show man, right? And then go zone. So we're going to have to see how fast can Luke Altmaier, dissect our coverages and what Matt Patricia likes to do in this game. Luke Altmaier is one of the top quarterbacks in the Big Ten right now. He has 12 touchdowns, 1,573 yards. That's 200 and some change more than Julian Sand. So, but he has thrown the pill, I would say, about 22 more times than Julian Sand as well. So, if anybody has not watched tape, I think Luke Altmaier is a respectable quarterback. So I'm very excited to see. Caleb Downs spoke on being a little bored in the in the backfield of the defense, or in the back end of the defense. But I honestly believe that this is a game where you're not going to be bored, and I believe you're going to have a lot of eye discipline. Illinois is going to come out with all the stops. I believe there's going to be some trick plays in there. There's going to be things where our guys are going to have eye discipline. And you saw that teams try to do some little trickery and everything Also, like using the tight end to leak out, and you saw Caleb Downs was right with him last week, and Minnesota still tried to throw it incomplete. So that's one good thing that I like to see about our defense is they have been playing discipline. You could try the trickery, but you haven't been able to get them. Very, very, very excited about that. Very, very excited about that, man. The running game, I'm not really big on their running game. I don't think that they have had a strong running game. So I don't think that the Buckeyes really got to worry about that. The strength of the offense for Illinois has been their passing game with their wide receivers. Betty is their starting wide receiver as well. Now, like I told you, the defense. Their defense is legit, but I will say this. One thing that should concern them is if your leading tackler is your safety, you got some issues, man. Their leading tackler with 31 is Scott. I think Ohio State runs them. A lot of people are putting Ohio State on upset alert. Let me know. Do you think Ohio State should be on upset alert? And I'll tell you this. I want you guys to answer this for me. Why would Ohio State lose against Illinois? Please, anybody, give me that answer. Why would Ohio State lose to Illinois? Let's go ahead and put this in the chat as well. Why? All right, there we go. And let's see, we're going to pin that. All right, man, y'all let me know. Why would the Buckeyes? I see Jam already throwing that. Hey, 79-6 is my prediction. Yes, the Buckeyes right now, after that Minnesota game, you guys heard Garrison. He was like one of the first people pushing it. The Ohio State had dropped on defense. The average of teams scoring on Ohio State is at a 5 points. So they get over 5. They got lucky, They got lucky. One thing you heard PJ Fleck said in 13 years, this is the best defense that he has seen in a very, very, very long time. So in 13 years, you're talking about, that goes from even more than the, let's say, it's about 13 years. That's more than 2019 defense. Hey. You telling me this defense possibly that good, man? Shout out Matt P, man. And also, we held Minnesota to 3 points. We keep holding teams to no touchdowns, hold them to 3 points, holding them to 6. I know I saw if you've watched Menace, my guy Chris Drew and Zach, they was breaking it down saying nobody since since the 30s or whatever was holding anybody to single digits as a defense. So, if you can do this in modern era and especially in this current era, I think that would be very impressive. It will be very tough to do to just hold teams to nothing but single digits, but as the average. But if we could do that, I'd be a happy camper. I see my guy Daniel Henry is also giving his predictions of Ohio State 38-17. Buckeyes Jam saying no TDs for Illinois. And that's what I'm believing as well. I believe there's going to be no touchdowns. It's hard for me to believe. We haven't given up a touchdown since the Ohio game? Did we even give up a touchdown in that, or was that all field goals? That had to be all field goals. So, yeah. Barely giving up touchdowns and no touchdowns in the red zone as well. So I really think that the Buckeyes are going to steamroll this. ESPN's FPI is only giving the Buckeyes a 17.7% chance to win this game. Now, this is what I need from you guys, Buckeye Nation. There's a guy named Matt B. Great. Believe he's a Bama fan. He likes to call us Little Bro State or whatever. But I done had to cook Matt B. Great on the timeline. And he says he's calling his shot. Ohio State gets upset by Illinois. But he just wants us to get upset by anybody. He hates us. He's a hater. But I think that he should accept the bet. There's a bet that I'd like to make with him. If we do not get upset and Ohio State takes care of the business, I would just like to say he should change his name to Matt B. Backtracking. Because that's what I think his name should change to. Matt B. Backtracking. Because we didn't see him do it multiple times. 1 minute, he don't care about the bowl games. Another minute, he do. I caught him on that. Yeah. I caught him on that, man. Shout out to being able to look up them old tweets. But yeah, Matt be backtracking, man. If he's willing to accept that bet, I would like to hear his terms, But if he's willing to accept that bet, since he thinks it's a friendly, we ain't got to put no money on it. But he could change his name to Matt be backtracking, man. Jam said he doesn't hate us. He's just getting the bait out. Hey, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. But I just saw him like upset. I thought that was crazy. But if we do lose, that would be an upset. Yes. Right now, it opened up at 16.5. The spread is now at 14.5. With the over-under set at 49.5. I haven't really given my score prediction now. I'll tell you this, because I basically asked you guys, will Ryan Day unleash Julian Sain? And I'm going to tell you why I believe so. Ryan Day has been honest. When we was going on the road and he said it'll be something similar to Texas game plan, he was dead serious. And we were sitting there like making predictions in the 40s, and it didn't happen, right? Well, I'm telling you now, Ryan Day said that a game on the road like this, you want to get a fast start. I think that we will now get to see this offense being unleashed, just like you got to see against Minnesota. He's going to try to take that game plan and take it on the road and see if we can go ahead, execute, get that fast start. So right now, it's all up to the players. It is in the players' hands to execute. It's up to the offensive line to hold up. It's up to the wide receivers to get open and get their assignments. If they're sitting in reading, if they're in zone, if they're in man, if they're in zone, you sitting in the right spots, opening yourself up for Julian Sain to make the right throw. Running backs hitting their keys. It's all about that. Making sure that you're protecting the quarterback as well in pass pro. So, I mean, I'm very intrigued in this game, very intrigued to see the Buckeyes be able to open it up on the road, because this conservative play calling stuff, I have been over it. And I feel like Julian Sain, has proven it. And Ryan Day talked about, like, with him, it's like a quarterback, it's a mountain. It's not like a straight up slope of how he trusts quarterbacks. And it's like, okay, you gained a little bit of trust for him. So I got trust for you like in spring ball. You gained that a little bit. Okay, you gained a little bit of trust in fall. But I have, so it's like, okay, here. This is, boom, you peaked that spring. Now it's like, okay, now we go to fall. So you got to go back up the mountain. And now, okay, you got the fall. Now we working, getting to the games. And then it just keeps climbing, and now you're climbing and keep climbing to the season. So, I mean, Ryan Day was kind of explaining it that way, like a mountain. But I think that Julian Sain has proven it. And here's my thing that I'm more impressed with about Julian Sain, because a lot of people said he's a 7-on-7 style quarterback. He has to be, in shotgun and all of this. There's a lot of preconceptions about Julian Sain. And one thing that we all questioned, and I told you guys, I wanted to see if Julian Sain had that toughness. I told you I wanted to see him sit in that pocket and deliver a dart. And not only that, I wanted to see him respine, get up, and continue to throw darts. And we saw it last week against Minnesota. That man took a shot, delivered a dart to Max Clare, and then got up and kept delivering darts. So shout out to Julian saying he Cali cool tough, man. So I think it's time for Ryan Day to go ahead, take the kid gloves off, and just let this guy cook, because what he was able to do with the conservative play calling, he was making all of the throws. You could see that. Then you were hearing how he's able to read the field. Now you're hearing he's like rattling off 2 to 3 plays in the huddle in case they go tempo. Ryan Day's talking about how it's a paragraph, and also how there's almost not a drop off from the way Will Howard was calling the plays to now of Julian saying. And how amazing is that for the players to just be able to be confident in their quarterback, to be able to get those plays, rattle them off, execute them like that. Hey, we can go tempo. We can do this. Now it's like it doesn't matter what we do. We have faith in our quarterback. And so while I think everybody else outside of Ohio State or outside of the Woody continues to question Julian, saying that team, the coaching staff, and everybody continues to grow faith in him. Running backs, man. Let's talk about the running backs. Bo Jackson continues to show that he's a stud, man. And it's crazy how this man did not start the season off right, but he is our leading rusher. This man was not a starter. This man did not become a starter till what? It wasn't even a Washington game, till Minnesota. This man didn't become a starter till Minnesota, and he already is leading the team in rushing yards. I just think that is amazing. CJ Donaldson, man, he seems to be losing touches, but he is that like goal line, that short yardage running back. I would like to see him with better contact balance, running behind his pads a little bit more. If he wants to take that next step to the league, man, that's something that he should be repping before practice, something that he should be working on after practice, because that's something that if you're running high, that's just something that you are normal. You have been doing it for so long. And to run behind your pads to get low, that takes rep. It's like you're teaching your body that getting low, running behind your pads is the norm. I need to see that from him for sure. Said Uncle Lou is hilarious too. Yes, Uncle Lou is crazy. But see, I don't think Uncle Lou is a hater though. I just feel like Uncle Lou is hilarious. And he just be giving like his honest take. Like I honestly just believe those be his honest takes, and he not hating. Whereas I done seen Matt just give no real reason, no sports real reason, no anything. Like even this Illinois game, he had no real reason for all the reason why we were getting on upset, bruh. He has no real reason, no sports reason, no ball reason, no nothing on why we getting upset. Also. I think Carnell Tate is putting the football world on notice. I'm seeing scouts are starting to talk about him. A lot of people were saying that Carnell Tate was not day one wide receiver for the NFL. And I think that the NFL scouts are starting to disagree with those people and seeing why. And also it's like, now you have to pick your poison. Do you really go ahead and bracket Jeremiah Smith, especially when you're seeing and you're hyping Jeremiah up all through practice, and then you see the misdirection that Ohio State did just with emotion and moving Jeremiah, and it moved the whole defense and put Carnell Tate in one-on-one situation with a guy who has no safety help, and because everybody's worried about Jeremiah, and you just the route running that Carnell does, what Brian Hartline continues to do, teaching these guys is amazing. The NFL catches, you see it on the sideline. That's just something day one that Hartline teaches. He don't teach get 1 foot down. If I teach you to get 2 feet down, you're going to get 1 foot down, as you know, normally. So he's teaching 2 feet down from the beginning, and it's like all you could see was Carnell Tate. Even Even the game before Minnesota, when we played Washington, it's like NFL catch, NFL catch, NFL catch. Like you just see the catches that he make is like those are good on Sundays. So shout out Carnell Tate and those wide receivers. Now, we talked about this in our halftime space, talked about it in the post-game show. Everybody's talking about Brandon Ennis. And I just believe like right now, you got two guys to worry about. You got Jeremiah Smith and you got Carnell Tate open. Dude's basically open like all the time anyways, right? So I believe Brandon Ennis is going to end up getting his shine. And we could tell last week was a Carnell Tate week. And you're going to end up seeing where one day Brandon Ennis is going to show you why his name is Showtime. He held on to the ball, made plays in the punt return, didn't fumble the ball. I was proud of that. I know he only had like one catch in the last game, but I mean, even after he had fumbled in the Washington game, he followed that up with some good catches. So I think people are too hard on him. And I know everybody keeps talking about Mylan Graham, but I'll tell you this, if you watch film, you saw Mylan Graham in the game, you'd also see Brandon Ennis in the game. So it's not Brandon Ennis who they're going to take out or whatever to get Mylan Graham on the field. That's not what's going to happen. So I think everybody can cool it on that one, man. Again, while you're here, make sure that you hit that like and that subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, please do us a favor. Smash that retweet button, man. It helps us, lets everybody know to go ahead and pull up. And if you want to be a part of the chat, the community, come on, join on over here on YouTube. The chat is kicking. My homie Jam's in the chat. We got Aaron in the chat. Who else we got in the chat? We got Daniel in the chat. So come on over here. Everybody in the chat talking. So, because I don't know. Most people just don't say anything in the chat on Twitter. I'm starting to learn that. I am starting to learn that. Okay, let's talk about defense, man. One thing that we are starting to see is more of Peyton Pierce, especially on that first drive. And I just think that the more reps that Peyton Pierce gets, the better he is getting. And someone else that I have to speak on, the more reps they're getting, the better that they are getting, is Tywan Malone, man. At first when, he was playing, and it is crazy because it's like, it looked a little underwhelming when we were playing the Gramblings and the Ohios, and it's like, what is going on? Now we're playing P4 opponents or whatever, and this man just continues to get better and better every week. I'm not looking at what PFF and all of that stuff is saying about that. One thing that I know for sure is that man is getting better. We heard about Malik Hartford and CJ Hicks are looking to redshirt this year. But as Ryan Day said, if something happens, them guys need to be ready. And I'll take it as this. So when I first heard it, I said, oh, I like how our program is moving, because in last game, one thing that I saw was that instead of CJ Hicks coming in, I saw Zion Grady come in. So I'm like, oh, I like the way our program's moving. I believe CJ Hicks needs a little bit more development because he, started learning that position late. And then you look at it where Caden Curry's probably going to leave. Bo Atkinson's leaving. You're talking about maybe Kenyatta Jackson's leaving as well. So you're talking about, hey, he's definitely going to be one of those guys. Maybe if it shapes up like that, he could stay. But I think CJ Hicks for sure is out the door. And the reason why is he scrubbed his Instagram of Ohio State stuff. Not only that, he ended up posting Mitchell Melton, who's been hooping at Virginia. So, I mean, to be honest, if that's the route that he wants to go, more power to him. I like seeing guys from Ohio be able to hoop. And also, I was watching that Virginia game, Virginia against Florida State, and I've been watching Virginia lately, because I'm like, dang, this dude, Mitchell Melton, just kept hooping. And the more and more, like, I kept watching that game, all you kept hearing was Mitchell Melton, Mitchell Melton, Mitchell Melton during the game. So shout out to Mitchell Melton and shout out CJ Hicks. I just find that the timing is weird, but I mean I understand. I understand. It's a crazy world that we live in. But here's the part that sucks about that, because now you don't have the walk-ons anymore. The scholarship stuff is starting to get limited and things like that. It's not the same. So I mean, that's spooky seasons. The Malik Hartford one is very, very shocking. And that's another one that I'm thinking like he might transfer. I'm like, I feel like he was in the running to possibly start. He was in the running to start this year, but I'm like, soon as Caleb Downs goes to the league after this year, it's gonna be Malik Hartford and Jalen McClain. Like, so I don't know. Maybe he's using that or hoping that. I don't know, but to see these guys do that is a little bit concerning. It is what it is. But my guy Daniel said Will Smith is coming along as well, made a few plays last week. Yes, Will Smith Jr. is definitely making plays, and he seems to continue to get better every single week. And you're talking about you pairing that up and you allowing these guys to get the reps while Edric Houston gets healthy. Now Edric got to get that discipline together, but you're building depth. You got K-Mac, you got Tywan Malone, Will Smith Jr., and then Edric Houston. You 4 deep. I would like to be 5 to 6 deep. So we got to get those guys. I believe Jarquez Carter is coming along as well. I'm hoping that these guys are going to be ready by the middle of the season. Now, also, if you haven't seen, go back and watch Zion Grady, man. One thing about the Big Ten, because one thing I'm seeing is I've seen the USC fans, the Oregon fans, Washington fans, UCLA fans, all of these fans complaining about holding. And I'm trying to tell y'all, in the Big Ten, they don't call it. And I felt on that play, it was on the far side of the field on the camera, but I felt Zion Grady was being held. And one thing that he didn't do was allow that to beat him. He still made a play while being held, and that's what you got to do, because they're not going to always call it. And it has to be one of the most egregious holds for them to call it here in the Big Ten. So, I mean, we seen Jack Sawyer get tackled, and they didn't even call it. So, I mean, actually, we seen it this year. Somebody got tackled, and they didn't call it. I mean, it just is what it is. But that is how the Big Ten runs, man. But I saw, like I said, score predictions. Our guy Daniel got 38-17. Jam has 49-6. Let me know what your score predictions are for this game. I haven't really thought of mine since Ryan Day said he was going to let it rip, right? And I think I picked like 42 last week. Let's say they're going to get – I'm going to give them 6 as well. I'm going to give them 6 as well. And I'm going to say 45. 45-6 is what I'm going to go. I think that'd be good. Something's telling me to just give them 9, but I'm saying 45-6. I like that. Shout out Garrison. Make sure you hit that like button and share the stream. OHIO. All right, man. So for our next segment, man, is Buckeyes against the world, man. It's a lot going on. I was looking because I'm like, man, what is going to be like my underrated games this week? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what my underrated games are going to be because there are so many good games. But you guys know me. I think the games that are most slept on is in the Big Ten. Now, as I was going through this, I felt like the ACC really didn't have any good matchups. I think the Big 12 has some pretty good matchups. The SEC I say theirs would be one of the top matchups. But when you're talking about another underrated matchup that no one's talking about, it goes back to Nebraska. Nebraska on the road, 3:30 kickoff on the Big Ten Network. They go on the road to Maryland. Both of these teams are 4-1. Both of these teams are 1-1. You saw Maryland is coming off of a heartbreaking loss last week as they were up majority of the game, just blowing Washington out. And then Washington hit a fourth quarter surge or second half surge where they just went crazy, came back, won that game 24-20. Nebraska's coming off of a win, off of a high against Michigan State at home. Maryland lost at home to Washington. So they're looking to defend their team. You're talking about two of the top young quarterbacks. Dylan Raiola, true sophomore. You're talking about what's his name? Malik Washington, I believe. Is it Malik? Yeah, Malik Washington, true freshman, I believe. Only has 2 interceptions on the year, which Dylan Raiola only has 2 interceptions as well. Does he make some freshman mistakes? Yes. Now, here's the thing about this. In this game, this kid is accurate, and I don't think that his completion percentage does him any justice. And I could probably say that for Dylan Raiola as well. This man was throwing dots in that Washington game to seal the win, and his guys were dropping passes. So that's one thing to look for in this game is can those wide receivers for Maryland take the next step and catch the ball. Defense-wise, man, Maryland has showed they got some defenders. Nebraska has taken a step back on defense. ESPN's FPI predictor only has Maryland as a 33.3% chance to win this game. Right now, at first, the spread opened at Nebraska favored at 5.5. It has moved up 1 to 6.5, which is kind of crazy because Maryland gets like 3 points because they're at home, right? But I do got Nebraska winning this game. Maryland showed they're not a fourth quarter team, not a second half team. They gave up. And one thing that Nebraska has showed is they still got that fourth quarter fight in them. So shout out to Nebraska. Let me know what you all think. Shout out to Linda Jackson, OHIO. We appreciate all of you all. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. Another big game that I do want to talk about. Now, that was my underrated game. Big game that I want to talk about. Indiana goes on the road. Let me get some water. Indiana goes on the road for a West Coast big noon kickoff on CBS. It's really a 3:30 CBS kickoff on East Coast. But because this game will be at Autzen in Oregon, and it's going to be basically a noon game. So Indiana will not be going on the road to that hostile environment that Ohio State went to last year where it was, just where they say it was loud. I saw some old Ohio State fans covering their ears in there and all of that crap. But I do think, obviously, that Oregon fan base, that crowd is going to be legit. It's going to be better than Washington's crowd on that noon kickoff when Ohio State went out there. Them Oregon fans going to be turned up. I don't think that you're going to be able to take over their stadium. But I just don't believe it's going to be on the same level as a night game versus a noon game. It's just how it is, and especially on the West Coast. So we'll see, man. I think that Oregon wins this game. They're a 7.5 favorite. And I'll tell you why I think Oregon wins this game. I think Oregon wins this game because of the trenches on their defensive side of the ball. I do think that Indiana has a pretty good offensive line. I know some people want to say that they have one of the best offensive lines in the Big Ten or in the country, but I think that they have some fish on their offensive line. And we're probably gonna find out. I do want to see. I think that the battle is in the interior more than it is the edges versus the tackles. I think it's the D tackles versus the guards in the center. That's what you should be watching for in this game. Also, Oregon, well, their DBs. I don't think that they were truly tested against Penn State. Let's see. I think this quarterback is better offensive system. This is going to be a true test for Oregon, and let's see how they come out on the other end. I'm very excited to see this game. Both teams have a good running game, good passing game. It's gonna be a matchup, man. But I do got Oregon coming out victorious in this game. So make sure that you are tuning in for that. The next game that I think that everybody should be watching, my last top game, will be Alabama on to Mizzou. Everybody's saying that Bo Pabula is better than Drew Allen. Let's see. Alabama's on the road. They're a 3.5 favorite. They have their one loss to Florida State, but that they don't look like that same Bama team. Going up against Mizzou. Now, Mizzou's running back is crazy. If Bama has any tackling issues, this Mizzou running back is going to take full advantage of it. You can expect them to use Bo Pabula in the running game. You can expect them to use the running back in the running game as well. But here's the thing about Bo Pabula. He does really good against blitz. So if you blitz him, he does good. But if you play base, you might be able to get you a couple picks off on Bo. He's not that good against base. So this is going to be about Alabama getting him on the ground. I think that Alabama wins this game. Now, I told you guys I'm probably going to have to stop giving Alabama that grace, but it's very hard for me not to. They have the talent. This honestly should be a mismatch. Alabama is still ranked ahead of Mizzou, but also, like, just looking at who Mizzou has played right now, like they played Central Arkansas, they had a close game with Kansas, 42-31. Close game with South Carolina, 29-20. And if I told you guys that Alabama was playing South Carolina, you guys would say, oh, Alabama would blow South Carolina out. I mean, it just wasn't the case with Mizzou. So could they get better than Mizzou? We're going to find out if Mizzou learned from that mistake. I know everybody's also thinking about this Oklahoma and Texas game. I don't know about it. I think Oklahoma wins the game, and I think that this Texas team might be defeated. But Vegas right now has this as a pick 'em, saying that OU is a 1.5 favorite. And I think that the reason being is because this happens to be played at the Cotton Bowl every time, which is basically in Texas. So it's always, to me, a home game. Now, Texas, ESPN, FPI predictors is giving OU only a 39.1% chance of winning this game. The biggest question is John Mateer playing? If John Mateer is playing, I say that they win by double digits for sure. But I also could see that Oklahoma squeaks by in this game. And if they do that, they're definitely OU will probably be a playoff team with maybe the remainder of their schedule. Let me check. Because, yeah, Texas, then they got South Carolina. Oh, no. There's no guarantee that they'll be a playoff team. Never mind. They got Ole Miss later down the line, which I think they could beat because I think Ole Miss's defense is suspect. At Tennessee, then you got at Alabama. The Mizzou game, I'll take OU over Mizzou. And then you got LSU, which I might take OU over LSU because Brian Kelly's a fraud. I think he's getting paid too much as well, man. I want to shout out my guy, Steve. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Twitter. But if you are hitting that retweet button, it says if you're watching you got to be watching the video on Twitter, and then you hit the retweet button as you're watching. That's how it lets me know. So shout out Steve for always being a member, always checking in on that, man. And salute to you as well, my guy. I will be coming to you all with some content. I'm thinking about doing like some Friday night content, just talking about teams, possibly watching some games. Maybe you guys could just, as I'm watching some games or whatever, and we could just chat and talk, you know. So I love watching football, and I definitely want to do some more things with you guys. So again, and the people I'm trying to do with, you know, I'm trying to do things with are our members, man. So if you are not a member, memberships are Blocko Club for $2.99. JT wasn't short for $4.99, and we don't give a damn for $9.99. Again, we appreciate everybody for showing up. Smash that like button, hit that like button. We definitely appreciate y'all. And with that, y'all, man, I'm out of here.
World famous Ohio State Buckeyes.
We might be in a situation where we have a superstar coach on our hands, kind of like how we did with Brian Hartline.
So right from the jump, make sure they understand they're playing somebody different tonight. They're playing the Buckeyes. They're playing the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Being a Buckeye, there's nothing better, bro.